So the Yontiv of Chanuka is coming. It's mamash over here. It's the Yontiv of, the Rav said, women and men, and it's a big Yontiv for children. You get the Chanuka presents, play dreidel. So I think that's very important. That I've been speaking about it for the last couple of days. That really Klal Yisrael didn't have to look to find the small bottle of oil that they found. They could have just used the bottles of oil that were there that were broken, because there's a halacha tumah hutra b'tzibur. If everyone's tameh, then you can use in the Beis Hamikdash something that's tameh. So really, they didn't have to look for a bottle of oil. They could have just used the regular oil that was there. And that's my subject matter tonight. The power of the soul, the power of purity, the power of that one drop of oil in every single person that's absolutely pure. And if you're able to ignite that drop of oil, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though it's supposed to last for one day, it lasts forever. Kids that are going through hard times, and adults that are going through hard times, many times the reason that is given is because of low self-esteem. Many things are blamed on low self-esteem. In school, at home, at work, in marriages, in bringing up children. So the Torah talks about it. And I always wondered, says, Amar Rabbi Akiva, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. The klal gadol in the Torah is that you should love your friend as much as yourself. I do not find that to be very Jewish unique, that only Jews love each other as much as themselves. So you're asking Rabbi Akiva to tell us what's the klal gadol b'Torah. So if a young lady in this room would ask me, Rabbi Wallerstien, give me a synopsis. What's like the main thing in the Torah? So, to be connected to Hashem. What's the main thing in the Torah? What's the whole Torah? What's the mitzvahs? What's everything that we do? Is to connect to Hashem. Well, what's the main thing for a man? Learning Torah. What's the main thing for a woman? Sometimes I say tznius, but then they all get very angry. What do you think, we can't learn? Like what? It's just tznius. Like, what do you think? So, but I definitely would not say that the main thing in the Torah is that you should have a good friend. But for some reason, Rabbi Akiva says, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So we need to study what those words mean. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. You should love your friend as much as you love yourself. So there's one pshat in Chazal that reyacha zeh hashchina. So that makes sense. V'ahavta l'recha, you should love God as much as you love yourself. Which sometimes is not so good, because sometimes you don't love yourself so much. So maybe loving God as much as you love yourself is not so good. I always talk about Avinu Malkeinu. I said the first thing you have to do before that starts to make tshuva is make peace with your family, especially your father. If you're not getting along with your father, and the whole time you're saying Avinu Malkeinu, you're calling Hashem your father, but you're not getting along with your father, then you're pretty much telling Hashem, I don't really get along with you. So I'm like, give it up, man. That's the first thing you got to do. Avinu Malkeinu, my father. So how are you doing with your father? I don't talk to him. Uh-oh. It's not a good relationship. How are you going to talk? How are you going to say Avinu Malkeinu? So it seems to be over here. So this makes sense. You should love Hashem as much as yourself. But there's a much deeper pshat. And it's something that I'd like to talk about tonight. In relationships, so we have many relationships in our life. Life begins as a baby. As a baby, the relationship that a person has is a taker. You give nothing. You just take. Your mother feeds you, and your mother diapers you, and they put you in the bed. You don't even burp by yourself. They have to burp you. You don't do anything. Everyone is doing everything for you. That's the first relationship a person has, is a taker. 100% taker. That's how you come to the world. Your job is at the end to be like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to be like God, and to be a 100% giver. So as the kid grows up, he makes friends. Friends is a give and take. I'll do this for you if you do this for me. You didn't do this for me, I'm not doing this for you. Marriage, when I speak to girls, I'm like, okay, what's marriage? Give and take. I'm like, that's very sad. If that's marriage, that means your husband comes and he gives you something and then he takes it. That's not a relationship. That's very dysfunctional. So marriage is a give and give, where each side gives to each other. There's no take. There's no take, and it's a little bit hard for guys. I have a lot of talmidim that are boys, so I'm in a very interesting position. I teach girls and I teach boys, and oy vey, are they different. The psychology is so different that it really is a nace. That a shidduch should work is mamash a miracle. This guy's coming from a dormitory, right? All of a sudden you throw him together, he gets married, his socks are on the floor, everything's all over the place. She's trying to figure out what's going on over here. The biggest complaint I get from my boys is, Rabbi, I don't know how to talk to I just got married. The first day after we're married, we go to the first Sheva Brachos. She puts on her sheitel, and she keeps saying, I'm not going to Sheva Brachos. This is not me. And it takes like 45 minutes and an hour, and she puts it on, and she puts in those rollers, and she takes out those rollers, and then she irons it. I thought Hashem made hair permanent press. Then she has to iron it, and she curls it, and he's like, I don't know, I don't got no problem. I just brush my hair and I'm going, right? And I put on my hat. What changed since I got married? Nothing. So you got that whole first night with the sheitel on and off with Ganze Meise. Then she puts on her dress and she says, Nu Chaim, how do I look? He says, you look great. Oh, you don't care. You mamish don't care. He's like, no, you don't look so good. She's like, how could you say that? We're married one day. I can imagine in a year what you're going to say. She's like, Rabbi, hello, Rabbi, help! What are you supposed to say? You're supposed to say the dress, mamish does you justice. You're special. It doesn't really make a difference. You're special. You're like, yeah, what? Rabbi Wallerstien told you to say that. It's a little bit hard when guys first get married. It's a little bit hard. Then we have that shopping thing. That shopping thing. Now, I don't know if you have this problem in Toronto, but we have this in New York. There's a store called Bloomingdale's. Have you heard of that store? Probably never heard of it. So the boy wants to go Sunday, he wants to take it easy. He's finally married. Sunday, he doesn't have to learn all day. It's like Sunday, it's a different day after you're married. Wants to take it a little easy, and she's like, but there's a sale in Bloomingdale's, maybe you'll come with me. And Rabbi Wallerstien tells all his talmidim that, how do you translate love, right? It's a big word, and it's a dangerous word. I had a Rosh Hashiva that somebody got up in my Sheva Brachos and said the word love. He said, love, shmam! What's made us love? Well, it's a word that's used in the Torah, and it's an expression of, we say Kriyat Shema all the time, V'ahavta, right? Habaycha b'amal Yisrael ba'ahava. So it's not a bad word. It's a word that's used in our relationship between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So there's a very big argument what that word means. Does it mean trust? Does it mean commitment? Does it mean all of the above? And I'm like, it means sacrifice. Sacrifice. That didn't work well. Because one of my boys went over after he was married to his wife. He said, I really sacrifice you. But Lamaisa, we see by Akedas Yitzchak that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted a sign of the ultimate love. And the ultimate love that a person could show HaKadosh Baruch Hu was that he was willing to sacrifice the most important things in his life for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that was Akedas Yitzchak. So the ultimate sign of love of a person to HaKadosh Baruch Hu was sacrifice, as cold and as not romantic and as not nice as it sounds. L'maisa, if a person really really loves another person, they're willing to sacrifice anything for that person. And that's taka, we know the ultimate avas Hashem is when a person is mesiras nefesh. When he's willing to give up, to sacrifice his own life for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's a terrible word, it sounds terrible, but l'maisa, that's the word. So my boys know that. So when his wife said, let's go to Bloomingdale's, even though he didn't really want to go, the Rebbe said, if there's a sale and she wants to go, we got to go. Shalom Bayis. Shalom Bayis, we're going to Bloomingdale's. So you take this guy who just got married. Again, I don't know if this is a Toronto situation. And you come to Bloomingdale's. And for some reason, women definitely shop very different than men. We walk into the store. We try on one suit. We tell them, give us that suit in blue, black, gray, charcoal gray. Give me a pair of shoes, 4 socks, 3 ties. You match them up. We don't even match them up. In fact, we don't even try on the shoes. I'm a size 10. Give me a size 10. We don't even try them on. Within 15, 16 minutes, we're out of the store. 4 suits, 4 shirts, 4 ties, pair of shoes, 8 socks. We're out of there. That's what we're used to. We're guys. This guy just got married. She's going to Bloomingdale's. And she walks in. I never make fun of women, ever. I'm married. I'm not silly. And I have 5 daughters. So I'm not making fun of everyone. I'm just trying to give you a little explanation where I'm going here. So you walk in, and I don't know why women do this. Maybe they don't in Toronto. The first thing you do is you walk over to the rack that has all the dresses. And there's always, all the dresses are on one side of the rack. And then the other side of the rack's like half empty. And you do this exercise. And for some reason, all the dresses on this side of the rack have to end up on that side of the rack. And the husband, this new young guy, straight out of yeshiva, was like, how come she doesn't take one off and look at it? You know what I'm saying? Why is she moving them all to that side? And she moves them all back to that side. She says, okay, my wrists are working, we can go shopping. It's working well. And she goes through the store, not making fun of anyone. And she picks from this one, and she picks from that one, and she picks from that one, and she's got like 20 dresses, and of course us guys, we're standing there, and we have them on our fingers, which stopped the blood flow already 40 minutes ago, right? We don't even feel our fingers, and like, these are not hangers, these are fingers, but okay. And, okay, I'm thinking to myself, the guy's like, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Rabbi, I got to take out a mortgage. She's got 40 dresses over here. I'm like, don't worry. She'll not even buy one. Because shopping's not about buying. It's about... So they're in a panic and they're calling me, Rebbe, I don't know, she went into the fitting room with 40 dresses. I'm like, trust Rebbe, don't worry about it. And they got smart in Bloomingdale's in New York. They put a couch outside the fitting room. So you see these 10 guys sitting there, and they're all snoring. And she's coming out, how do I look? Amazing, amazing, it's perfect. Okay. The truth is, it's not true what I just said. Most of the guys have earphones on and they're learning the daf, to tell you the truth. That's what's really going on. But anyway, he says to himself, she's got 40 dresses. That means she's not going to be out of that fitting room for about 40 minutes, at least. Let me go downstairs, see if they have any sales on men's ties. He goes downstairs. Unbelievable. That day, 50% sale on Brioni ties. Like, this is amazing. But if I buy a tie and she doesn't buy anything, then she's going to say that the whole trip was because of me. But I'm willing to give this day up because of her. So she can't know that I bought a tie. Unless she buys a dress. But I don't know if she's going to buy a dress. So the guy takes the tie and he puts it in his pocket. And all the cameras in Bloomingdale's are watching. And as he's going up the escalator, because he doesn't want her to realize that he left to look at something, there are like 15 guards. Sir, why did you put that tie in your pocket? And he's like, no, you don't understand. My wife, 40 dresses, I just got married, I don't know. The sale, if she finds out I took a tie and she didn't buy the, oh my goodness. And they're like, well, take the tie out, and you can't keep it in your pocket. He goes upstairs, but Hashem didn't miss anything. She walks out, how many dresses does she have out of the 40? Meanwhile, the salesperson keeps running back and forth, this size, that size. He's sitting there, he's trying to figure out what is going on here. It takes us 5 minutes. We bought 4 suits. 4 hours later, she walks out. 2 dresses. He's like, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem. First of all, that she didn't buy the other 38. Also, thank you Hashem very, very much that she bought the 2, because otherwise the trip is a failure. If the trip is a failure, we're going to have to do this next Sunday again. So we hope that you're going to buy something. He's good. 2 dresses, Rabbi, everything's good. Good shalom bayis, nothing to worry about. And they're very smart. They put the fitting room far away from the register, so that on the way to register, maybe you're going to find something else. Not good with Jewish women, guys. It doesn't work that way. Don't give them time to think. All of a sudden, on the way to the register, comes this. Chaim, what am I going to wear this for? I don't have an occasion. He's like, Miriam, I didn't tell you to buy that. I don't need this. 1 dress left. He's like, Hashem, please, I'm begging you, she should get 1 dress. I got this tie. I want to get this tie. I really want to get this tie. And then comes the little label on the dress. All of a sudden now, after 4.5 hours, she's looking at the label. $450? I could probably get this in Nordstrom's for half. And she hangs it up. Ash State Darton, 4.5, 5 hours, nothing. Oh, he's there, I'm going to go home. And now he puts the tie down very quietly behind him, because it can't be my trip. If I buy the tie, it's my trip. And he goes home. Now, why am I telling you this story? Because I try to teach my students that really caring for somebody else, not whether they buy something or they don't buy something, it's that they're doing something that they enjoy, and that makes you happy. It's a new concept. It doesn't matter. They bought, they didn't buy, does not make a difference. It makes them happy. Whatever they're doing makes them happy. That makes me happy. Now, how do you get to such a place? Said Rabbi Akiva, there's no you, there's no I in us, just you. When it comes to relationships, the person that gets in the way is yourself. And the reason that you can't see the other person in your relationship, whether it's your kid, because they did something wrong, or your husband, or your parents, or whatever, or HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is because if you cannot see through yourself, and if you're in the way, you cannot see the other person. If you remove yourself, all of a sudden you see everybody. And all the Balei Chasadim, and all the stories that you'll read about people who do chesed, they had no self. They removed themselves. It was all about the other person. I was talking to a parent today, and I said, when your kid comes home and they did something wrong, and you tell them, do you understand what you did to the family? Or what you just did? Do you understand what you did to your sister Shidduch? Do you understand what you did to Tati? Do you understand what you did to me? And the kid's like, I did this whole thing to get attention for myself. And you're screaming at me about everybody else. So now I got to do something even worse to get attention to myself. Instead of saying, Shefala, do you know what you just did to yourself? It was all about you. You were in the way. You know what you did to me? I put all my kaifas. I spend all this money. I do everything for you. Do you know what you did to me? The kid didn't say, Hineni Mukhlim Zuman. I was talking to a teacher today. Hineni Mukhlim Zuman, mommy or teacher, I want to hurt you. When a kid does something wrong, they don't say, Hineni Mukhlim Zuman, I want to hurt my parents. They're doing something wrong. They don't want to hurt their parents. They want to have fun for whatever Mushud Gas got into their head. They definitely are not doing this to hurt their parents. But the first thing they hear when they come home and they do something wrong is, do you know what you just did to me? So the kid's like, Ma, what I did is not about you. But if the mother says, do you know what you just did to you? Do you know how you just hurt yourself? The kid's like, wow, my mother cares about me, not about what I did to her and her family and her shidduch and my father and my older sister and all that. Says Rabbi Akiva, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah, v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. So if the reacha is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so that's an amazing answer. But what happens if the reacha is not HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Because not everybody says reacha is Hashchina. So what is this v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha? So Rav Shimshon Pincus says a Nayid Gevart. And I can tell you after 34 years in Chinuch, Baruch Hashem, having my own children, his word is very true. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha means that before you enter into any relationship with any person or God or anything, the first relationship you need to enter is with yourself. And today everyone is so busy that they don't have to face themselves. And a kid who was on drugs told me, the greatest thing about drugs is I never have to face myself. Because I am not here. The loneliest object in the world that has no self is a mirror. Because a mirror only reflects what's looking into it. It has no self. So Rabbi Akiva says that the most important thing in a person's life is to have a relationship with yourself. Because if you don't get along with yourself, you can't get along with anyone else. And if you don't get along with anyone else, you can't get along with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can't love God, who you don't see, if you can't love yourself, who you actually are. And that was Rabbi Akiva's godless. The end relationship is a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but you can't get there if you don't have a relationship with yourself. If your whole day, your ears are buzzing with phones and with this and with that, and you don't spend time, and you don't make a cheshbon hanefesh, and you don't sit down, and you don't think about where was I, where am I, and where am I going? Those are the three things that every person needs to think about before they go to sleep at night, says the Chofetz Chaim. What was my plan for tomorrow? Did it work? Didn't work. Okay, I'll try a little bit harder. It worked better than I thought. Great, I can push myself a little bit further. People don't make a cheshbon hanefesh anymore. The cheshbon we make is how many minutes we have left on our plan on our phone till the end of the month. I'm talking to myself, by the way. I'm not talking to anyone here. Only thing I was talking to you about is that Bloomingdale thing. Otherwise, I'm talking to myself. People don't have time. They don't have time to get to know themselves. Then how can you have a relationship with someone else? If you don't know what you are, right? What's a marriage? A marriage is two halves. You take two halves and you put them together. But if I don't know who I am, and I think I'm an orange or an apple, I don't know who I am. Am I an orange, an apple, an egg, or potato chip? How am I going to find my other half? What am I looking for? An apple, an orange, or potato chip? So the failure many times in Shalom Bayis, and many times in bringing up kids, is I don't know who I am yet. How can I have a relationship with somebody else? Said Rabbi Akiva, number one, your best friend, your reacha, is kamocha, is you. You can go to 1,000,000 therapists. Nobody will ever know you better than yourself. You are your greatest friend, and you are your greatest enemy. And you need to know both sides of that person. Because when it comes to an enemy, forewarned is forearmed. You know your weaknesses, and you know your strengths. Instead of other people working on it, the person themselves needs to work on it. You need to spend some time by yourself. It's very scary. It's very scary to spend some time with yourself. But it's also very healthy, because what are you scared of? Whatever you're scared of, if you find out what that is, then you can work on it. And once you work on it, you can get healthy. And once you get healthy, then you can have a relationship. And once you have a relationship, you can have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can't have a relationship if you're depressed and you're not happy with yourself. You cannot be happy with Hashem. It all begins with V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. And the reason I tell you the story about Blue Midos is exactly what I tell my boys. You want a relationship? So, the other person's happy, I'm happy. Because I got to know myself and I realized it's not all about me. This world is not all about me. And therefore, it's about the whole world. It's about every single person in this world. There's a thing called baltashkas. It's about an apple that I'm not allowed to throw it in the garbage. Because it's baltashkas. Apple has feelings. Why can't you do baltashkas? Why can't you empty out your refrigerator every day, throw everything in the garbage? It has feelings. Because the world was created and Hashem put everything in the world. Baltashkas means that you cannot waste anything in the world. It's not about you can do whatever you want. And that's what we're missing in this generation. Big time. Yeshivas don't have Mussar Seder anymore. Where you sit for an hour or a half an hour and you work on yourself. I want to tell you a story about a person working on themselves and about finding a drop of oil. So in my yeshiva there was a student, his name was Howie. And in 6th grade they threw him out of school. For whatever reason. I had just started teaching. Never made it to my class. And he went to public school. And as he grew up, I can tell you that he had no love for rabbis, that's for sure. Or yeshiva, or Yiddishkeit. He met a girl, she was a Buddhist. And he went to the Himalayas, and he got himself tattooed on both his arms, 2 big fat Avodah Zarah Buddhas. And he had this girlfriend. And I knew about it. His older brother stayed in yeshiva. And I was invited to his older brother's wedding. So I came to the wedding, and they have in these modern weddings, it's called the Rabbi's Hava Nagila dance. They put up the mechitza for 10 minutes, and you get to dance, and then you better get out of there, because those mechitzas go down, and who knows what they do? I don't know what they do. So I came for the Hava Nagila dance. It's my Talmud. So I sat down before they started playing, and this boy Howie, sitting across the table from me with this Buddhist, non-Jewish girlfriend. And he's lahakas in my face. Lahakas. I'm okay. Listen. They threw him out of yeshiva. I understand a little bit his feelings. He didn't have to become a Buddhist because he's big tattoos on his arms. All right. It comes to the Hava Nagila dance. I walk over to Howie. I remember it like today. I'm like, Howie! It's the Hava Nagila dance. You want to dance with me? So he turns to this non-Jewish girl, this Buddhist, and he says, you mind if I dance with the rabbi? Biggest mistake she ever made in her life. She goes, no problem. You want to dance with the rabbi? Go dance with the rabbi. Have a good time. Okay, no problem. So, we started dancing the Hava Nagila dance, and I gave him this big, fat kiss on his right cheek, and I said, Howie, you got to know one thing. No matter what you're going to do, I know you're in my face, and I see all your tattoos. But you need to know something. You have a Jewish neshama, and I love you. And then I gave him a big, fat kiss on the other side of his face. And I whispered in his ear, but you keep this up, you're going to Gehenna. And I didn't use the word Gehenna. And you all look at me, that's Kiruv? Whoa. I said, now let's dance, Howie. So we did a little Hava Nagila dance, and he walked me out. He says, Rabbi, I hear you give a class Tuesday nights. I'm like, yeah, I do. He says, want to have a debate about religion? I'm like, 100%. You're a Buddhist, aren't you? He goes, yup. You're not scared to debate me in front of your class? I'm like, I can beat that little fat guy with the big belly any day of the year. That guy can't lose weight for 2,000 years. I think I'm scared of him. Okay. So he shows up at my class Tuesday night. I said, you get up, you speak first. He got into the whole thing, the powers, the source, the energy, the Alta Buddha, the Younger Buddha, the Ala Buddhas, and he tried to prove his point. And my guys were listening. It's a little dangerous, right? Prove their energies and this and that, and got some mices and whatever. Okay, when he got finished, I started with the little fat man. He got a little upset at me. He can't talk like that about Avodah Zarah. They ripped him to smithereens. That's what I do. Not rip people to smithereens, but I did a lot of studying of other religions, and I deal with atheists, even though there's no such thing. They call themselves atheists. I don't believe in God. The world just happened. I'm like, you just happened, not the world. You want to be an atheist, and you have to study all Kol HaTorah, every Sefer Rishonim Achronim, every Sefer that ever came out about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, about the Torah, about the creation, about everything, the Medrash Rabbah, everything, learn it all, and then disprove it, then you're an atheist. See you in 6,000 years. What's the thing as an atheist? It's like a kid sitting in Florida. Hey, Rabbi, what's going on? I'm in New York, or in Toronto, it's snowing. What's that? Below 32 degrees, the water gets a little flaky, flaky water, and it sort of falls to the earth. I don't believe in snow. I'm like, where are you? On the beach in Miami. What's the temperature? 93. I'm like, well, why don't you hop a JetBlue, fly up to New York, and help me shovel my walk? Oh no, Rabbi. You have to prove me snow here at the beach in 90 degrees. Like, are you crazy? It can't snow in 90 degrees. Well, then I don't believe in snow. So that's a fool. I mean, you don't believe in snow. Get on a plane, I'll show you snow, plenty of it. No, show it to me here. So all the people that I deal with that don't believe in God, it's like, no, show me God right here. No, let's learn. Let's learn. Let's go to Mishi. Let's learn everything. Then you disprove everything. I said, by the way, you're like a scientist, because that's mostly the kids that are like, I'm a physics major. I don't believe that God created the world. I'm like, but isn't the first basis of science that everything has to be from something? So like, what's that first molecule that exploded and exploded again, and bing bang and bang bing and whatever you want to tell me, but everything has to start with something. They don't have an answer for that. Well, you can't prove God. I'm like, I don't have to. Well then, why do I have to prove an atheist? I'm like, it's very simple. I had this vikuach not that long ago in Borough Park. Every day I have 20 minutes to myself. That's what I get, 20 minutes. I leave my work, I go across the street, I buy a Diet Coke. Hope my wife's not here because she doesn't know. I also buy like a chocolate Danish. And those are my 20 minutes downtime between teaching, Ornava, Teres Nava, Benochaya, and everything else, and my Parnasa, and everything I got to do. So I need my 20 minutes. And the guy in the store knows. Leave him alone. I walk into the store one day, and he's like, Rabbi Wallerstien, perfect timing. I'm like, no. He goes, no, you don't understand. This guy just came, Borough Park guy, you know who he is? He just came into the store, and he just said, he gave up Yiddishkeit, he's an atheist. I'm like, I'm off. I get my chocolate Danish, my Diet Coke. If he's an atheist, that's his problem. I believe Hashem created the chocolate Danish. I'm good to go. I got no problem. You don't believe it? You shouldn't eat it. I'm eating it, right? No, you don't understand. Rabbi Wallerstien, I always get this. What's going to happen in Shemayim to you? You walked in, he was just here, you could save him, you could change him, it's all about shirt, then he came on your 20-minute break. Always give me that guilty conscience. I'm like, okay, where is he? He's standing outside the store, he's smoking, he's having a coffee. I said, that guy? That guy has a beard. That guy? So he's an atheist? Yup. I walk over to him, I say, hey, Shalom Aleichem, atheist, how you doing? He goes, I know who you are. You're Wallerstien. I'm like, yeah? I'm like, to you too. Yeah, I heard some of your tapes. Yeah, you with God. Yeah. Not me. I'm like, really? Yeah, you can prove God? Like, you want me to, really? He goes, you can't. My wife schlepped me to a bunch of rabbis. None of you can't. You want me to have a emunah? I don't want to have a emunah. I'm like, I don't want you to have anything. I want to have my choke date. But now that we're talking, let's talk. Mano a mano. It's a very famous story. I'm sure you heard it up here in Toronto. It definitely came across the border. These two Borough Park ladies go to Paris. Not usual that two Borough Park ladies get to go to Paris. Now, in Paris, they're doing the tour. And part of the tour is you go to the Lowy. Very fancy museum. There are very expensive paintings in the Louvre. So, they take the whole chevra, it goes by chevra, like 12 people at a time, and they bring you through the Louvre. And the French curator, you know, I'm not making fun of the French, not once you cross the border. What's with those stewardesses on Air Canada? They make believe they don't know how to speak English. I was like, you know how to speak English. Don't talk to me in French. You parle français. I'm like, no. What's that deal? We'll have to talk about that later. What's the deal with that? Anyway, so the French are the French. And they're very proud of being French and what they have. So, they're walking into the first room. It's like a room with a teeny little painting. And there's a big light on the painting. And the curator walks in and says, this is a Monet, this. And everyone, you know, you have to show that you're cultured. So everyone's like, wow, I thought the painting would be much bigger. It's amazing. Look at the stroke. Look at they captured her emotions. And everyone's like, wow. And the two Borough Park ladies are standing there. Helen! Why would someone paint such an ugly lady? Could you imagine saying that in the French, in the Louvre, in front of the curator? Could you imagine his reaction? So he got all angry, and this is the only thing I'm going to say tonight in French. And he says in French, he is really upset. But they have manners. Doesn't say anything. Okay. They come into the next room. Another painting. And he's watching these two ladies. This is a Monet flowers. For all those who don't speak French, Monet flowers. And everyone's looking. Oh, the flowers, the colors. They're all excited. Helen! They're called those flowers. My granddaughter, for my birthday, she made me flowers. Those were flowers. Those are not flowers. Why are they getting so excited? That's it. He lost it. He walks over to these two ladies and he says something unbelievable, and I have used this in crowds and colleges and all over the place. He turns to these two ladies. The mic's not working anyway, so don't worry about it. And he says, ladies, the Mona Lisa and Monet flowers are not on trial. You are. Monet's flowers and the Mona Lisa are proven works of art, studied for so many years by the greatest artists, taught in the greatest universities in the world. They are not on trial. You are. If you appreciate art, it seems to be that you two ladies have absolutely no understanding of art. Therefore, security! Please escort these two ladies out. They do not belong in this museum. So I turned to our newborn atheist and I said, God? God is not on trial, mister. You're on trial. He created an amazing world. with colors and flowers and people and human bodies and so many mountains and oceans and fish. And he's not on trial. 5,772 years, every morning the sun comes up and not 1 second late. And it goes down not 1 second late. And the moon never fell into the earth. He's not on trial. Mister, you're on trial. And if you don't understand his world, then maybe he's going to escort you out of it. And I took another bite of my Danish. And he said, Wallerstien, we need to talk. And we talked, and Baruch Hashem, he's not all the way there yet, but he's definitely not an atheist anymore. So this guy came, this boy came, and he gave a whole schmooze about Buddhism. But because he was there, and I went back at him, Baruch Hashem, he decided to come the following week. And after about 6 to 8 weeks, coming Tuesday night to the Chabura, the girlfriend was gone. I didn't know what to do with him though. I said, let's go to Eretz Yisrael. It was close to Yom Kippur. We went to Eretz Yisrael, and I put him in Esha Torah. Didn't work. Esha Torah is amazing. It's very logical. And many proofs of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in many good ways. But he was already a Buddhist, and it was all about spiritual, not logical, and all about yoga, and all about meditation, and all about getting in contact with yourself. So it didn't work. He stepped out. And he joined Chabad. And he liked the warmth, and he liked the dancing, and he liked the Shabbos, and he liked the singing, and he liked everything that was going on, and he joined the yeshiva in Yerushalayim. He was there for a few years, and he called me and said, Rabbi, I'm coming home. I said, why? You're doing so well in Eretz Yisrael. He said, I'll never find a shidduch here. I got tattoos of Buddhas on my arm. What girl's going to go out with me? She's going to bend down in the kitchen to pick up a fork. She's going to think she's bowing down to an avodah zarah. Who's going to marry me? I'll come back to America. I'll find somebody, a girl maybe that she has tattoos. It became about tshuva. He really meant it. And she'll understand my tattoos, and whatever, we'll get married. So I'm coming back to America. I'm sure you all know the story in Yerushalayim, the most famous story about this Baal Tshuva where he had tattoos and he was very embarrassed. He used to go to the yeshiva mikveh and it was closed, and he had to go to the mikveh in the middle of Yerushalayim where all the chassidim were, and Imamish was so embarrassed to go in front of them because these kids never saw tattoos. And he goes to the mikveh. It's a very famous story in Yerushalayim, and he goes to the mikveh and he's walking down the steps and all the kids are looking at him. They never saw tattoos on a human body, and he's mamish embarrassed, and he's red, and he's beyond himself. And this old Jew goes, old tzaddik, this old Yerushalmi goes walking up the steps. It's a very famous story. And he puts out his hand, and he has numbers from the concentration camp. And he says, see, I also have a tattoo. This is my Gehenna. I got out of my Gehenna. Those are your Gehenna. You also got a your Gehenna. Don't worry about it. And he went back to yeshiva. Everyone in Israel knows the story. He went back to yeshiva, and he told over the story. I eat as I eat. But this guy was very nervous. What am I going to do? He's going to marry me. I'm like, stick it out 3 more months. It was like towards the summer, and you'll come home. I'll try to find you a shidduch. What should I tell you? Anyway, HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world. A week later, his Rosh Hashiva calls him. We have a shidduch for you. Okay? A girl from Kfar Chabad, perfect family, but I think she might understand you. Now you have to know that really no one knew about his tattoos because this poor boy would wear sweaters in the middle of the summer, mamish to his wrist. He was always covered. He didn't want anyone to know that he had tattoos. He says, Rabbi, when do I tell her? I'm like, she doesn't even know you yet. Relax. Just go out with her and you see what happens. Comes to the 5th day. It's a true story. I should bring him to Toronto because he's a better speaker than I am. Comes to the 5th date. He calls me up, Rabbi, I'm going on my 5th date. It's getting very serious. I have to tell her. I mean, she cannot find out at the chuppah that I have tattoos, not only stamp tattoos, but tattoos of Buddhas. I'm like, okay, you have to tell her tonight. But not in the beginning of the date. If you like her to the end of the date, that means it's the 5th date, pretty serious, tell her tonight. Mom was saying to Hillel, this girl, she should be. Rachmanis on this poor guy, he worked so hard to get here. So he tells me the story. He's sitting there in the car. He brings her back to Kfar Chabad. She's sitting there. He's about to say goodnight to her. Mamash had a great date. And he's like, we'll call it Suri. Suri, there's something I need to tell you. She's thinking he's going to say, will you marry me? So he's like, there's something I need to tell you. And it's really a very big thing for me to say this. And she's like, now she's sure. You know what? I have a tattoo. She looks at him. It happens. He says, no, not one of those little tattoos. It's like a tattoo on both my arms. It happens. Yeah, but it's not just tattoos on my arms. It's Buddhas. It better not have happened. She goes, okay. He goes, no, you think I'm kidding. You think I'm just trying to like get out of this shidduch. And he opens his shirt, and he rolls up his sleeve, and on his arm is this big Buddha, Avodah Zarah. He says, I'm not kidding. And I got one on the other arm too. She goes, so? He goes, so, will you marry me? She said, is that a proposal? He said, yeah. She says, absolutely. He says to her, why aren't my tattoos bothering you? She says, because I don't see them. I only see one tattoo. I see a Yud K Vav K on your heart. True story. He says it over. He said, that's all you see? She goes, that's all I see. She said, she didn't say call him Howie. I'm not allowed to call him Howie anymore. It's Chaim Shalom. She said, Chaim Shalom, don't worry about the tattoo. The way you speak to me the last 5 days, your Shemayim, your connection to Hashem, I never met a boy like this. You have a tattoo on your neshama, Hashem's name. And he got married, and he has a long beard. He looks like a rabbi much more than I do. And he has Canaan and 3 kids, and he lives in Bnei Brak. And I got him to come speak in Arnava one night. We called it From Buddhism to Judaism, From Tattoos to Tefillin. That was the name of that speech that night. And he got up there and he told his story. And at the end, all the girls wanted to see was the tattoo. Really? I have to see it. And I'm like, let's go, Chaim. Let's get out of here. Every Jew, every person, every Jew on their soul has HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. And no one should ever give up on any Jew. Whether it's a kid of yours, a kid of someone else's, a kid of the community, yourself. Because Baruch Hu puts his name on every single Jewish soul. Which brings me to a very fascinating story. And it's really connected to Chanuka. Whoever listens to my shiurim definitely know this story, but every time I tell this story, I take it in more. So there was this girl in Chicago, and she was totally not affiliated with Yiddishkeit. Her parents were not religious at all in any which way. They lived in Chicago. But her name was Miriam. Her grandmother was Miriam. They named her Miriam. And the parents felt a little bad. She's a Jew. She should know something about Judaism. So they sent her to a Sunday reform school. And the teachers in the school were Orthodox girls. But the rule in the school was you cannot bring a student home for Shabbos. or you will be fired. So, this little Miriam, 6th grade, goes to Sunday school, this Jewish school, and there's a frum girl teaching there. And she mamish falls in love with this little kid. And she says, you know what, if I get fired, I get fired. She invites her for Shabbos. It's a really ridiculous story. And this little girl comes for Shabbos, you can imagine, this little has never saw Shabbos before, never saw Shabbos candles, knows nothing about anything. She comes to her Mora's house, and it's time to light candles for Shabbos, and there's her Mora standing there, about to light candles. And this little girl turns to her Mora and she says, Mora, could I also light candles? She says, well, it's our minhag, it's our custom that the mother, I light for you. I'll have you in mind. She goes, but you don't understand, my mother doesn't light candles. And when I grow up, I'm not going to light candles. It's going to be my only chance. Mora, please, could I light candles with you? Okay? She takes out 2 candles, she puts it next to her, they do their thing, make the bracha together, she lights her 2 candles. She said, you can wish for anything you want. When a woman lights candles, it's brought down the Zayar, it's like she's standing in the Kodesh Kedoshim on Yom Kippur, and she's a Kohen Gadol. That's what it says. That's what candle lighting is by a woman. You could do the biggest nisim in the world. Your children should be standing next to you by candle lighting. And they should be also, girls who need shidduchim, whatever it is. Candle lighting is what it says. Like the Kohen Gadol in the Kodesh Kedoshim on Yom Kippur. Candle lighting is a very holy time. So this little girl, I don't know what she wished for. Who knows? Okay. That was it. The teacher supposedly did not get fired. But it's not the important part of the story. So, till 8th grade, she did her Sunday one-day program in a little reform school. They talked about Israel, a little bit about Judaism, Abraham, Jacob, Isaac. And then it came to high school, and that's over, that program. And her mother decided to send her across the street, because in Chicago, on that side of the south side of Chicago, the public schools were not good. And she sent her across the street to a Catholic school. So she goes to this Catholic school, but she's Jewish, and she knows she's Jewish, but, it's a Catholic school. And slowly but surely, she begins to pray with them. And slowly but surely, she totally forgets that she's a Jew, and she goes from Miriam to Mary. Mary, she fits in with the rest of the girls. She graduates. She goes to college, I think Xavier, also non-Jewish. And she meets Vinny. And she gets engaged. And now she's going to get married to Vinny. Mary and Vinny. And she says over the story. And then, it's the day of her marriage. No rabbi, nothing. It's Shabbos. And she's going to church. And she's getting married to Vinny. So, she gets into the car. She's got those 3 girls that all match. It took me a few years to figure it out. The girls told me they're called bridesmaids. So they're all in this big limo. You know how they go in the limo, getting married with all the trailers, with the cans, with the noises, got some mices, with these 3 girls that are all dressed the same. She's sitting there in her wedding gown, and they're on their way to church on Shabbos. And the 3 girls are talking to each other. Should we give it to her now? No, don't. No, but I think we should. But maybe we should give it to her before the wedding. No, don't. You know how girls are. I don't know. You know. So she says, give me what? What are you giving me? You bought me a present? Come on. Give it to me now. No, we're going to wait till after you're married. Back and forth. No, you have to. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. Yes, you do. No, you don't. Please. Oh, come on. I'm not going to make fun of you guys. So finally she says, they make a deal. We'll give it to you if your eyes are closed. Deal. She can't peek. Deal. She closes her eyes. She says over the story. She closes her eyes. And they open this velvet pouch with a beautiful gold chain. And at the end of the gold chain, there's a cross. A gold cross with diamonds. She's like, okay, so what did you buy me? Come on. They're like, okay, we're gonna, don't open your eyes. This is how she says the story. And they take the chain and they close it behind her neck. And one of the girls is holding the cross. And she lets go of the cross. And the cross is going towards her body. And as the cross hits her body, this voice comes out of her soul. It's a Jewish soul. And that Jewish soul has a tattoo in it. It says Yud Kei Vav Kei. And when the cross hits her body, a voice comes out of her soul. No! This is her telling the story. And that no goes all the way up to Shemayim, through the clouds, through the gates, through the walls, till the Kisei HaKavod. Till where Hashem is sitting. A voice from the world, some girl in Chicago, on her way to marry Vinny on Shabbos, with a cross, and some little soul, with a Yud K Vav K, is screaming, no. Bezin Shamal is like, what was that? The Satan comes out and says, don't worry about that one. That's mine. She's going to marry Vinny in church. Okay? She's going to marry Vinny in church. What is Ben Shamal going to do for her? So they pull into the parking lot. They're about to pull out. And one of the girls run over and they say, don't you want a blessing from the rabbi before you get married? If you're Jewish? She goes, you think he'd give me a blessing? She's like, well, if you take that thing off your neck. She says, you really think I could go into synagogue? I could take it off? She says, you can't come. You can take it off. Absolutely, the rabbi will give you a blessing. But I'm marrying Vinny. He would still give me a blessing for sure. For sure. So, it's a true story. So they go into the shul. Now, Baruch Hashem, it wasn't in Brooklyn. It was out of town. Because these Jep girls are walking in, and then there's a girl walking in there in a wedding gown. In the Ezras Nashim. I don't want to tell you what would happen in Brooklyn. But it was out of town in Chicago. So the Rebbitzin turns to the other lady next to her and says, wow, these Bali Tshuva, they take this Shabbos Kala thing really It's okay, don't embarrass her, don't say anything. Everyone just sit there and just welcome her. So it's a big mazel, that she walked in, mamash at the end of davening, and they were actually singing Ein Kel Elokeinu. They had the little boy that was singing Ein Kel Elokeinu, and she said, like, my husband, the rabbi, he'll be glad, she said, will you give a blessing? He'll be glad to give you a blessing, no problem. She's not wearing a cross at the moment. But we just have a little stuff left, just a few minutes, and she's sitting there in this neshama. The people in this room understood what a neshama is. If you knew what Hashem gave you, you'd be jumping up and down, screaming. I'd have to leave, because you'd be singing, and then I can't listen to you. I've seen what a neshama is. You could step on it, throw it in the mud, throw it against the wall, throw it in the fire, put it in the lowest place in the earth, and it comes right back. You can't destroy a neshama. Indestructible Jewish neshama. So she's sitting there, and this neshama is listening for the first time to Anim's Miras. With a little kid in shul screaming, Anim's Miras. This woman's going to marry Vinny, and this neshama is now listening to Anim's Miras. And these Jep girls are trying to figure out, what is this rabbi going to do? Anyway, outside they're beeping, like crazy. So they finish davening, and the Rebbitzin says, I'm going to take you downstairs, you're going to talk to the rabbi. You got to have him stop beeping. So she runs over to the car. It's a true story. She runs over to the car, and she says to the girls, listen, 2 minutes, I'm getting a blessing from the rabbi. They said, what were you doing in there for so long? Well, whatever, they were saying grace and this and that, I had to wait, whatever it was. And they're like, this always happens with you Jews. She said, what did you say? It's always with you Jews. You're always, you can't do anything straight. Oh, so I guess I'm different than you are. Well, you and Vinny look at each other all the time anyway. So don't waste the money. You go marry him. She tells her friend. So then you go marry him. You don't have enough patience to wait? You Jews? So then you go marry him. And she walks back into the shul. And the rabbi walks over to her and says, how are you? What's your name? Where do you live? I never saw you before. You don't live that far. Starts talking to her. And they drive off with that limo. The Jews, they meet another Jew and that's it. We lose them. And they invite her for Shabbos. And she becomes frum. They send her to Neve in Eretz Yisrael. And they make a shidduch for her in Neve. And she ends up marrying a guy who's a Baal Tshuva, who ends up becoming a Rav Arel Chassid in the middle of Mea She'arim. And the way I know this story is that there was a seminary girl that actually came to teach in Crown Heights Yeshiva, where I teach. It must have been about 18, 19 years ago. And she told me this story. She said in seminary they sent us, every Shabbos, you went to a Sephardic house, an Ashkenazic house, and a Hasidic house, and we were sent, me and my friend, to a Rav Arla house. So we come to this Rav Arla house, Hasidic house. We're already nervous. Our skirts were down below our shoes. We didn't know if we had to wear something over our hair. We were nervous. Rav Arla Hasidim, we don't know what we're supposed to do. We knew we're not supposed to wear the white yarmulke, so we didn't know what to do. So as we come in there, and it's mamash 5 minutes before Shabbos, whatever it is, and the man's running out, and the lady comes downstairs to light candles, and oh my gosh, she's wearing a wedding gown. And you're like, okay, listen, I'll see them. They also take the Shabbos thing, they take it seriously, These two girls, they're from seminary, what do they know? They don't know anything. And they're sitting there and they're watching this woman, she's got like 4 little boys on one side, 3 little girls on the other side, and she's mamash lighting the candles in this wedding gown, right? And she's standing there and she's lighting and she's lighting and she's lighting, and she's talking and she's got lists like a column. Before Shalem and when these children in Shalom bias and 45 minutes candle lighting. And these 2 girls are just sitting there watching this. The kids are already running around the house, they're all over the place. She finishes, she sits down, talks very quietly. She says, I'm sure you're wondering why I'm dressed in a wedding gown. I'd like you to know it's not a minig Rav. So, but I'll tell you the truth, that I was in a religious Jew. She tells the whole story. She said, I know that this is what happened, and that because I lit those candles in my teacher's house, Hashem should give her the biggest reward for those 40 seconds. That's why my neshama screamed and yelled. This was her perception of what happened, and that's why I'm here today. And I made up my mind that this was the gown that I was wearing the day that I found God. And therefore, every Shabbos, I light my candles, because in this list of candles, that is why I am here today. Very nice story, very, very amazing. A red light! Check it out. I don't know in Canada. 40 seconds. 1 red light in her life. Look what happened. Now, I said the story in the 5 towns. When I got finished, I see some ladies talking quietly in the back, so they know what happened. When I got finished, I was attacked by 5 women. That story is not true. Somebody made it up. It can't be true. So I thought they were going to say it's so far-fetched that you could be going to marry Vinny with a cross and end up marrying a Rav Arla Chassid. I mean, that's like, wow. But that's not what they said. So Rabbi Wallerstien, we have 2 questions on that story. Okay, what are they? Number 1, how could you be lighting candles in the same gown? It wasn't tznius. There you go. Number 2, you said 4 little boys and 3 little girls. No way she fit into that wedding gown. I said, ladies, that's what you got from the whole story. So now I'm very careful at the end of the story. You all need to know. She took it to a seamstress. She had it let out. A lot! To make sure everybody's happy. A lot! And it was very tznius. That's what you got. I couldn't believe that. That's what you got from the whole story. I'm on fire, 40 seconds, a red light. A person's life can change in 40 seconds and you're like focused. It's not fair. How could you fit into the same gown? I can't. I can't get into my wedding gown. How come she could? Can't be true. Oy vey. Oy vey. So it's a very funny ending, but it's a no ridiculous story. 40 seconds. 1 drop of oil. 1 drop of purity. A little 6th grader that wanted to light candles. Changed her life, and her children's life, and her grandchildren's life, and her great-grandchildren. And that is a Jewish neshama. God is not on trial. We are. Do we understand what each one of us has? Do we understand what Chanuka is? Do we understand what children is? Do we understand what being a Jew is? God is not on trial. We are. So I'd like to end with a story some of you might have heard, maybe not. And I think this is the last speech of my whole trip to Toronto. It's actually my 330th, I think. I am totally outspoken. There's some people in Toronto that really think I'm outspoken. So I would like to tell you this story. This is the one to end your trip with. And whoever heard it, please don't say the punchline. So there was this girl who was blind. She was looking for a shidduch. It was very hard to find the shidduch. Finally, they read her a shidduch. She goes out with this guy. They fall in love with each other. Oh, no, I'll use that word. They like each other very much. Very, 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 very much. Underline very, very. And they get married. And they're listening to the radio one day, and they hear that they have just come up with an eye transplant, where they can transplant good eyes to someone who's blind. Call 1-888-623-461-EYES. So they get all excited. Oh my gosh. So they call the number and they're like, yes, we have came up with this transplant, but there's a 7-year wait. We don't have many donors. There's a 7-year wait. And he was all excited and he was like, oh, I really wanted, I was hoping that, we could get this done right away, but okay, there's a 7-year wait, what can we do? She says, listen, this is how I've been all my life. Don't worry about it, it's okay. 2 weeks later, the phone rings, she picks it up. Are you Mrs. So-and-so? Yes. It's your lucky day. Someone donated eyes specifically for you. She's like, what? It's amazing. How long do I have to wait? You don't. You got to come down to the hospital right now. She calls her husband, Chaim. You're not going to believe it. Someone donated eyes. It's amazing. Let's go. We're going to the hospital. And they go to the hospital. And it's the night before this big operation. And she's so excited. She's going to see. Her whole life she didn't see. She's going to see colors. She heard about them. She's going to see shapes. She heard about them. She was very excited. And he's sitting at the edge of the bed. And he says to her, I'm very, very happy for you. But there's something I need to tell you that you don't know. I've always been as blind as you. So now you're going to be able to see me, but I'm not going to be able to see you. But it's okay, because I can wait the 7 years. You get the eyes. She's like, you know how much I love you, don't worry about it. Someone's going to give eyes for you too. And the next day they do the operation. It's a huge operation for many, many hours. She comes out of the operation. Of course, her eyes are closed. It takes a few days, a little bit light, a little bit more light, and then colors, and then letters, and then words, and it's amazing. And her husband's blind. She can see. So she helps him around the house a little bit. He used to help her around the house. And she goes to work. She now has a job. Real good-looking guy is her boss. And he starts to talk to her. Who are you married to? She says, a very nice guy. But he's blind. He's like, hey, it's very nice that you're nice to him, but if you marry me, we could go on trips. And we could see the world. You need to hang around with a blind guy. I understand when you were blind, there was one thing, but now you can see. He can't see. He can't take you anywhere. I'll take you skiing. I'll take you to the beaches. We'll fly around the world. I'll get you a car. You can drive. You don't have any money. And he works on her, and he works on her, and he works on her. And she begins to fall. And after a while, she falls in love with him. And one day, she calls up her husband, who's home. She says, Chaim, I know this is going to be very hard, but I want a divorce. He says, what? She says, I can't wait 7 years. I want to see the Alps. I want to see the beaches. I want to see the world. I met somebody. I think I fell in love with him. Chaim, I'm sorry. I apologize. But when I get home tonight, I really appreciate if you get all your stuff out of the house. And I'll take care of it. We'll call the lawyers and we'll do what we got to do. He's like, totally shocked. It's not a pun, but he never saw it coming. Totally shocked. What are you going to do? Let's get it done. So, he packs up his stuff, calls up his parents, says, I have bad news, I'm getting divorced. Can I come back home? For sure. We'll come pick you up. And you take all this stuff with him home. She's feels a little guilty, not much. She comes home. She tells the guy, I told my husband we're getting divorced. I'm going to take care of this really fast. Within a month or two we'll be married and we can start our trip around the world. She comes home. She walks into her bedroom. She looks in the closet. The suits are gone. Ties and shirts are gone. Shoes are gone. Aftershave's gone. Shave is gone. Everything's gone. The place is cleaned out. Her stuff is all in her closet, everything. He didn't steal anything. He didn't take anything. He only took what was his. But on the bed is an envelope. And she opens up the envelope. And in the envelope is a letter. And I have that letter. I'd like to read it to you. And it goes as follows. Dear Miriam, I guess all the great times we had together doesn't mean anything anymore. I will really miss you. I ask you one favor. Please take good care of those beautiful blue eyes, for they were once mine. I gave them to you so you could see me. But I guess I'm not worth looking at. And she sat there on her bed and she said, oh my God, what did I do? I used his eyes to look at other men. How could have I done this to this man who loved me so much? What a crazy story. No, it's not a crazy story, ladies. We said it this morning in Tefillah. Elokai, my God, Neshama shenasata bi, the soul that you gave me, Tahirahi. It's beautiful. Beautiful pair of blue eyes you gave me, Hashem. Ata barasa, you created it. Ata yutzarta, you fashioned it. Ata nefachta bi, you gave it to me. Ata meshaba b'kirbi, and you watch it, as that neshama is in me. Kol zman sha neshama b'kirbi, as long as that neshama is in me. Moidani lefanecha Hashem Elokai v'Elokai Avosai, I thank you. Riboin kol ha'maasim, the creator of all ma'asim, Adon kol ha'neshamas. Every morning, God gives us a pair of eyes. His eyes. His neshama. A transplant. Every morning. Every one of us in this room gets. And what do we do with those eyes? And what do we do with that neshama? And what do we do with that life? We use it to look at everything but him. We are no different than her. We are no different than her. And Hashem says, I ask you one favor. Take care of that beautiful neshama that I gave you. No different. And that's a neshama that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given everybody in this room. And He gave it to us to look at Him, to look at His flowers and to say a bracha. He gave us children, all these presents that He gave us, not to you, to look at a computer, to look at a cell phone, but to look at Him. And all we do, I'm talking about me, not you, is we use all the things that He gave us, all the senses, the hearing, the talking, the seeing, the life that Hashem gives us. We use it for everything but looking at Him. And then when life's over after 120, we sit on the bed and we cry. Oh, look what I did. Here's the neshama. And I used it to look at everybody else. To that Zacharia who told us, you want to see life? Hang out with me. Let's go to the movies. Let's go to the internet. Let's go to all the other places. They're exciting. And Hashem's like, but I gave you the neshama. I gave you the life. Why are you divorcing me and going off with him? Elokai neshama shenasata bi. Don't ever forget that gift. We say it every morning before any bracha. Elokai neshama shenasata bi. Hashem, that neshama that you gave me. Those blue eyes. Those beautiful blue eyes that you gave me. What am I doing with it? That beautiful heart, these emotional feelings that you gave me. When am I using those emotions? I'm crying because I read a sad book. I watched a sad movie. That's what I'm using my emotions for? Instead of crying for all the Jews that are sick and need shidduchim and need kids, I'm crying over silly things. That neshama that you gave me, that's what I'm using it for? A heilige neshama, that girl is able to see through all the tattoos of the world into the soul of a boy to say, I don't see anything else, I just see a tattoo of a Yud-Kei Vov-Kei and a neshama. That's the godless and that's the greatness of being a Jew. And that's Chanuka. A teeny drop of oil, but it was pure. 40 seconds in a person's life that were pure. Everyone in this room, including me, has red lights in their life, like this girl. The light turns red, you stop, you think, I have kids, I should give them more time. My husband, I should give more time. I should daven a little bit more. You get that red light, it lasts for 40 seconds, if that much. I want to change. I want to give this up. I want to change. I want to do the right thing. 40 seconds and the light turns green. Rabbi Wallerstien got up, he spoke, and I'm thinking I'm going to change my life. But then it's over, and the light turns green, and the car keeps going straight to the church. So the question is, what do you do at the red light? And after 120 years, Hashem's going to show every single person, I gave you a red light, you had a Chanuka and a Pesach, and you had time to think, and this guy came to speak, and you learned, and you went to this shir, and you're part of the Vad. Right? All this stuff I gave you, all these red lights I gave you, and you stopped, and you looked, and you said, I'm gonna, and then the car went right through the green lights. And goodbye. Hanukkah is a red light. Hanukkah is a time to sit by a menorah with your children and think about what I'm doing here. Where was I last year Hanukkah spiritually? Where am I this year Hanukkah spiritually? And where would I like to be next year Hanukkah spiritually? And whatever those answers are, take care of it. If you're in a better place, so then next year I'm going to be even in a better place. If all the stuff I thought I was going to do, I didn't do, okay, I still have Baruch Hashem gave me life. I'm going to continue to do it. So my bracha to everyone here is that tomorrow morning, when you say Elokai Neshama, Shenasatavi, Tahirihi. Hashem, it's still Tahar. And I'm a woman. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam. Thank you, Hashem, God of the whole world. She'asani that you made me kirtzono, in your will. I am standing here Monday morning and telling you, Hashem, that I am your will. And if I'm not yet, I will be your will, because you gave me that mission. It was an amazing trip. Go back to New York and tell them, amazing people that are in Toronto, Kushbo, we should give you all the strength to stay out of Bloomington. I mean, to grow, and whatever you need. It says by a shear, the Shekhinah is there, especially in a shul. If you need a shidduch, mitzvah Hashem, this Chanuka, your Chanuka present should be a shidduch. Healthy children, good marriages, parnasa, the 4 shalemas, to be able to go inside and find out who you are, v'haptarecha kamocha, and all the things that you need. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give Klal Yisrael the biggest Chanuka present that he ever gave us, and that's the Beis Hamikdash HaShlishi and Mashiach. Thank you very much.
You know that Yom Tov of Chanukah is a special mitzvah for women. And it's interesting that both Yom Tovim and Rabbanan are special for women. Yom Tov of Purim, and women played the major role in the Yom Tov of Purim, and women played the major role in the Yom Tov of Chanukah. And the reason is that really, the woman, one of the mitzvahs woman has is to light the ner, to light the candle in the home. The woman is the one who lights and kindles the warmth of the candle and the warmth of the home, and the ner, which represents everything, seeing everything through Hashem, and see Hashem in the home. The woman is the one who brings Hashem into the home. Both Yom Tovim, Chanukah and Purim, women played the major role, because women play the major role in the home. In Ishu Beisai, they played the major role. Near Chanukah, the Svarim say it's called Or HaGanus. They found the little Pach Shemen, the light that's really hidden in every individual. Every individual has the light within him. You need someone to bring it out. The women were the ones who, in the Yom Tov of Chanukah, brought out the neiros, and through them you had the neiros, and that's why women are so involved in this mitzvah. So beautiful that right in the week of the Yom Tov of Chanukah, you have all the women coming together to have someone kindle those neiros that are inside everybody here. And there's nobody who is more qualified than Rabbi Wallerstien. Anyone who ever heard him speak, and he kindles hundreds and thousands of people.
Okay, I would like to first thank for their helping and for help supporting our Nava, Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Westbrook, who sponsored tonight's evening, Lili Nishmas, Moshe Ben Shmuel Alexander, to Dr. and Dr. Warren Bean last night, and to Dr. and Mrs. Yisrael Ingber for all their help and that delicious dinner that we had in their restaurant. Before Shlema for Sharon Esther Bat Shoshana, and of course my cousin Rabbi and Rebbetzin Lowy, and the Aguda for hosting this event. There are many wonderful people who helped for the preparations for tonight. Esther Greenchop, Rivki Kaffer, and of course who really arranged the trip. Cindy Scheinbaum, and it's been an amazing trip. And I'm only going to say Wednesday night Mitzvah Hashem when I speak in Ornava, just to compliment all the fantastic people that are here in Toronto.